Today we're going to be taking a look at another SCP. This one is titled SCP-482, Mentally Mutating Straitjacket.
She's been coming to see him for several months now, but she doesn't feel like she's made progress on any of her issues.
I could definitely relate to that. You know, there was this one time where I did have to go to counseling. This is a little bit of lore, by the way. So I did have to go to counseling. This was a couple years back. And you know what? I just wasn't feeling it with the therapist or the counselor that I had. It was a guy, right? So I really, there was nothing clicked with me and him. So eventually I just stopped going to my sessions. And then he contacted me a couple of times to see, where I stood with the counseling sessions. And I never replied to any of those emails. And so I just left him like that. I left him on red, basically. And then I guess he closed my file. I did him kind of dirty. That was my bad, though.
The man listens and nods as you...
Yeah, I did feel as if I wasn't getting anywhere with the sessions, or we were moving a little bit too slow. Which is why I didn't feel as if I needed counseling, which is why I stopped going to the sessions altogether and left the man on red.
He jots down some notes on his pad of paper. He has something he wants to discuss with her.
Mm-hmm.
She may feel
Something
as though
crucial.
she's run out of options, but there is one other thing they could try. He's seen lots of success using this with his other patients,
Yes.
though it's a technique that many would deem to be rather unconventional. The woman is unsure.
What do you mean by that?
Unconventional techniques don't exactly instill her with confidence.
Yeah, what you about to
But at this
do?
point, what did she have to lose? The man stands up
They
and
panned
motions
over
for
to
the
the
woman
room.
to
What you
follow
about to
him.
do in the room with
He
her?
leads her out of his office to a section of his
Oh,
practice
nah.
that she's never seen before, where they stop in front of a closed door. On the door is a window covered by a curtain, and she notices that there are a set of strong locks as well. He unlocks the door and ushers her inside, where
Some
she
50
finds
Shades
that
of
it
Grey
is a
stuff?
small
Oh,
room,
never
maybe
mind.
10 feet across at most, with thick padding on the floor and walls, and bright white lights set into the ceiling.
You see, this is a little bit of lore as well. I was in a situation in which I was almost put into a room like this with a straitjacket, or I was threatened to get put into a room like this with the straitjacket. That's all I'll say to that. I will not say any more on that.
He tells her to
Not now, at least.
wait there just a moment and to make herself comfortable before he excuses himself. The woman looks around at the padded room, wondering just what it is that she's agreed to.
Yeah,
The man returns, and now he's holding something.
what is all of
A
that?
garment bag. He unzips it to
Again,
reveal
I
a
don't
dark
know.
piece
Maybe
of clothing in
some 50 Shades of Grey stuff about to go on here. Am I allowed to show this on YouTube?
inside. But when he takes it out, she sees now that it isn't
Pull out some
clothing at all.
lingerie.
At least, not any normal kind.
It's a straitjacket.
It's a straitjacket.
Yeah.
The woman is scared, unsure if she wants to go through with this, and he does his best to put her at ease.
What are you trying to say? You're trying to
If
say she's
uncomfortable,
crazy or something?
She certainly doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to. But he reiterates that he has had great results using this with some of his other patients.
Okay.
It's been something of a miracle cure. Well, no, cure is the wrong word. He corrects himself and explains that this won't cure her in the way that she's probably thinking, but rather what he's found is that this therapy is able to provide a momentary relief from symptoms, a
Okay.
chance to see what life is like without being plagued by the issues that have led her to seek his help.
All right.
Once she has gotten a glimpse at what life is like without these burdens, they can work towards bringing her back to that point through other therapies and techniques.
All
This
right.
might be just the breakthrough she needs to finally make something work.
So go
The
through
woman
with
is
it.
still skeptical, but she is desperate to find anything that will...
Ooh, my window was open. Give me a second. Let me go and close my window. I don't want any background noise to get into my recording here. Give me a second. All right, my window is now closed. Let's go ahead and get back into this, shall we? Am I focused? Okay, I'm good.
that will help her escape the thoughts constantly plaguing her mind so that she can get back to being the person she wants to be. And after a moment of thought, she agrees to go through with the procedure.
All right,
The
let's
therapist
go ahead and
tells the
give it a
woman to
try.
hold her arms out in front of her and places the
Ooh, my throat hurts.
straitjacket on her. She can see and feel now that it is made of black leather, and it fits her
Oh my
perfectly,
God.
almost as if it were made just for her. She turns around, and he pulls the straps tight before fastening them in place. The woman, standing in a small padded room and fully constrained by the black leather straitjacket, turns to the man and asks, "Now what?" "Now we wait," he tells her, before
Now we wait
backing
and
out of
see.
the room. A warning, though. "Now a warning?" she says. "This is a one-off procedure. You can only do it once," he tells her before closing the door.
It makes sense because
She's confused. Is
given
this
the title
procedure?
of this video, the straitjacket is the SCP, so it makes sense for it to be one off.
He's locking her in a
course.
cell? What is going on? She never should have agreed to this. Her mind starts to race.
No,
filling
you
with bad
good, you
thoughts,
good. She's gonna
and
be
they get
good.
even worse when the
She
lights
can handle
suddenly
it.
go out. She starts to panic, breathing heavily in the dark from both fear and from being constricted by the leather straitjacket.
Why though? If it
She
was
calls
me,
out
I would
that
have
she
been
has
like,
changed her mind. She doesn't want to do this
okay.
after all. No response. She's serious. She wants to end this right now and leave the room. It isn't working. It's
I would not
actually making her
behaving.
feel
I
worse.
would not be behaving
All the
like
fears
this.
and
Trust me.
anxieties that plague nearly every moment of her life come rushing in at once. Her mind races as she can feel all the telltale signs of
All
a
of
panic
that?
attack starting. A million little issues.
You just
pulling
turned
her
off the
apart at
lights.
seams, leaving her stretched out and helpless to do
Ouch.
anything to stop it. But then suddenly, there's a change. Like a cool
Nani?
breeze blowing across her face, the feelings of hopelessness and despair start to dissipate.
Oh
Her
really?
anxieties feel as though they were melting away into
So
the
it's
dark,
working.
leaving her with only the comforting embrace of the straitjacket.
If it was me, I'm telling you, I would have taken a nap a long time ago. You put me in a straitjacket and turn off the lights. It's peaceful for me, okay? So I wouldn't be behaving like all of that.
It isn't that she feels happy necessarily. She simply feels normal,
Yeah, I would have been at peace from the start. Trust me.
content with herself and her situation. It's an incredible feeling, and she basks in the joy of not feeling bad. She doesn't know how long she's in the dark room feeling content. Minutes, maybe hours. But eventually the door opens and the
Probably
lights
just
come
5
on.
minutes.
Her session is over.
Oh no. I always hate when the sessions are over. I don't know. There's just something about my counseling sessions being over that doesn't sit right with me.
Leaves the office with a new perspective on life. Most of the feelings of satisfaction have gone away already, but still she feels renewed, ready to tackle her issues so she can feel what she felt in the straitjacket again, so she can feel normal. By the next day, though, her new lease on life is completely gone. And she's on
Already?
the phone with the man pleading with him to let her
Well, it
come
is
in
a temporary
immediately and wear the
fix,
straitjacket
so it makes
again.
sense.
He warned her, though, that it was a one-off procedure.
Yeah.
Too much exposure is dangerous.
You
She
can
needs
die.
to focus on other treatments instead.
You can
The
get
woman only
dead.
wants to come wear it for a little bit, though. Just a
No,
few
no,
minutes
no,
to feel
no,
that way
no. That's
again.
not gonna slide.
He tells her it's impossible.
Nah,
though.
fam.
She should be happy it was so successful and move on to new techniques. And besides, he's leaving for a conference and won't be back for a week. They can discuss things again when he gets back.
Yo, why is he wearing a black face?
It's raining that night as a figure in a dark coat breaks the glass on the front door and reaches through to unlock
I
the
wonder
door.
who it is.
The woman enters the office and hangs
Look.
the wet jacket on the wall. Her flashlight illuminates the room they had
See,
their
this is
sessions
how
in.
you go and get
No
yourself
one is there.
killed.
She walks deeper into the building and spots the door to the padded room.
Yes,
She
her
passes
room.
by and goes even further to a back room that she's never been
Breaking
in
and
before.
entering.
In the room, against a wall, is a metal trunk. She opens it to find the dark garment bag with the leather straitjacket inside.
The SCP.
What do you want me to do again? The young man asks. He was just supposed to be delivering a pizza, and his boss would be angry to learn that he allowed a customer to invite him in.
Couldn't she text a friend or something like that? To come and do it for her? Why'd you have to go and order a whole entire pizza? The girl's about dumb as hell.
This is my office, she tells him, and I'm working on some new techniques for my patients, but I need to try them out
What
myself
type of techniques
first.
are you
That makes
working
sense,
on
right?
other than talking?
Well, sure, I guess, he responds. But for this particular one, I need some help. It's a secret, though, so I can't get any of my colleagues to help me. But you can help me, right? The young man nervously swallows the soda she's given him and nods in
Very
agreement.
sus, very sus.
She explains that all he has to do is help her tighten the straitjacket, close the door, turn off the lights, and listen. In a little while, when she's finished, she'll ask him to come inside and take it off her. That's it. The young man still seems a little wary of the request.
Very sus, very
What
sus.
happened to your door? He asks, but she ignores
She
his
broke
question
it.
and pushes a wad
Because
of
she
cash
was,
into his hand.
she's breaking and entering
The young
right
man
now.
shuts the door to the padded cell, and a moment later, the lights go out. The woman is almost
bet
immediately
you he
taken
forgot
back
to
to the
lock
same
the
mental
doors.
place she was before. All of the thoughts that constantly repeat in her mind, the ones that she's never able to turn off, suddenly go quiet. She sighs with relief in her dark, safe space. But
She
then
thinks she's doing
she
something
feels
good for
something.
herself right now.
Not in her mind, but on her
You
face.
see? See,
A
look.
twitch, just a little
The
facial
side
spasm.
effects are happening live.
Then another. There's something wrong. Her face suddenly feels very tight, like it's being
Oh, damn.
stretched. Her eyes grow wide.
Oh,
her mouth
damn.
pulls into an unintentional sneer.
Oh, damn.
The young man hears the woman's muffled
She's
cries
dead.
from inside the room and opens the door. But what he sees causes him to emit his own scream before he turns and runs out of the office into the stormy night.
She's dead. She's dead. Can you see now? Now she just made herself look foolish. Now she's dead.
What the heck? The man thinks as he looks at the broken window on his office door. He enters to see that the door is still unlocked and that there's glass on the floor inside. He walks inside his office and looks around, and doesn't see anything.
Came like
But
the
in an
popped
instant,
into my
there's a moment of
office.
realization. He runs to the back, to the door to the padded cell. The door to the room is
Still
ajar.
wearing blackface.
He listens. Is that breathing inside?
No.
He opens the door to the dark cell and turns on the light. The black leather straitjacket is sitting in the middle of the floor,
My throat.
except it isn't the floor anymore. Now, instead, a stretched layer of skin is spread across the padded room,
Oh,
with the outline
damn.
of flattened bones visible underneath.
Oh,
The
damn.
man's mind can't comprehend what it is that he's looking at, but then he sees it. In the far corner of the room is the stretched out face
That's our
of the woman,
homegirl.
her eyelids pulled too
Oh.
tightly, leaving her eyes staring
What is
up
all
at
of
him.
that?
Through a stretched, contorted mouth, she whispers, "Help me."
Oh, no.
Is there anything crueler than an object that is able to treat your mental health issues, yet has some of the most devastating side effects imaginable? In this humble doctor's opinion, no. And today's anomaly is just such an object.
Oh, he's wearing
Designated
blackface, too.
SCP-482, it is perhaps better known as the mentally
I should
mutating
not say
straitjacket.
blackface. Blackface is racist.
SCP-482
His
is
face
a
is
black
just
leather
shadowed.
straitjacket that is quite similar in appearance and construction to a mass-produced version, though as you'll see, it is completely unique.
Okay.
Although the straitjacket is comparable in size to other medium-sized versions, it is somehow able to fit virtually any and all body types and sizes. A tag
Very nice,
inside
very
contains the
nice.
words, "Made in Xiaoyan, hand wash only, no acerahena powder," in
What's
faded text.
acerahena
though-
powder? What is that? Well, let's go ahead and Google that really quickly. Figure out what's aceragina powder. Believe it was spelled aceragina powder. Well, that did not give me what I'm looking for. How do you spell it? Aceragina. Aceragina. What is that? Serena powder? What is that? That must be written in a different language or something, because it's showing me, I don't know what this is. Anyways,
Though neither the city nor acerahena powder appear to exist in any records that the
Acerahena
SCP
powder.
Foundation has been able to locate. There are no signs of wear on SCP-482, but there are several
sorry. Oh, okay, so acerahena powder.
cuts on the straps that cinch the garment closed,
Acerahena
and testing
powder
has shown that it is able to be further damaged,
is fictional.
though any additional
Okay.
investigations of the extent to which it can be damaged have been suspended due to the lack of viable duplicates. The real anomalous effects of SCP-482 occur when the straitjacket is worn, and the two main effects, which occur one after the other, have been designated as time point alpha and time point beta. Time point alpha is used to refer to the initial stage of a subject wearing SCP-482 and can last a varied
Okay.
period of time, though it is most often between 1 and 6 hours of wear. During this period, the subject will report feeling mentally better, and any negative mental afflictions that they suffer from
6
or are forced to
hours.
deal with will appear to disappear completely. Additionally, any medications that they may be on will have their effects negated entirely,
Find me the-
leading
whoa,
to them
okay,
returning a
we got some
result on
stuff here.
Foundation standard psychological tests that is consistent with a baseline mentally stable individual.
Find me this therapist and find me this straitjacket. I will pay somebody an innumerable amount of money to find me this therapist and to find me this
effects of time
straitjacket.
point
I
alpha
want
are
it.
temporary.
I will find
Once
it
the
one
subject
day.
is separated
Trust
from
me.
SCP-482, any mental illnesses they are living with will be seen to return, but they will disappear once more if the straitjacket is worn again. However, the amount of time a subject spends experiencing the effects of time point alpha are cumulative, and given enough time inside of the straitjacket, they will always eventually reach the second stage of SCP-482.
Okay.
Time point beta refers to the subsequent time period that passes if a subject is still wearing SCP-482 once time point alpha lapses. During this period, the changes to the subject will no longer be mental, and instead, they will begin to experience physical effects. The exact nature of the physical changes will vary, though they do seem to be related in some way to the subject's own mental health issue, with the degree of the change also seemingly related to the severity of their issue. Through the testing of
Okay. So if that's the case, then she got stretched out. So then what does that mean? Does it mean she's been feeling stretched out? I don't know. I would go in depth about this, but this is not it's not a theory channel, and it's not that goes past way beyond my expertise and my job description, so we're not going to get into that. As much as I would like to, though. But no.
SCP-482 by Foundation researchers on D-Class personnel, a number of different manifestations of the Straitjacket's anomalous
D-Class
effects
personnel
have been
basically
documented,
means
and
slave.
they're recorded in a file designated Experiment Log SCP-482. In the first test, a male D-Class diagnosed with schizophrenia was placed inside
male
of the leather
slave.
straitjacket. He immediately reported feeling eerily calm.
He got
was
sent to his
observed
death.
simply sit and stare at the wall with a blank expression for 2 hours and 49 minutes, a period which was later determined to be his time point alpha. Time point beta began 1 minute later at 2 hours and 50 minutes when the subject's body began to contort, and he remarked that he was in a great deal of
Right,
pain.
he has schizophrenia.
Various parts of the subject's body began to increase in mass
Let's
and
see
size.
let's see how the
including his
straitjacket
head,
is going to
as
reflect
his
that.
eyes began to bulge out. He called in agony while attempting to make eye contact with the researchers who were observing through a glass viewing window for 34 minutes until a termination order was given. Subsequent examination of the subject's body revealed that his body mass had increased by roughly 180% due to rapid bone and muscle growth. It's unclear what physical process caused this, though genetic tests showed that his DNA had abnormally shortened telomere strands. The observers also reported they experienced an unnatural feeling that rendered them unable to move in a normal manner while the subject was making eye contact with them. For the second test, another male D-Class, though one who had been diagnosed with a paranoid personality disorder, was placed in the straitjacket. During his alpha
Let's see how the
exposure,
straitjacket
he
is going to
reported a
reflect
satisfying
this.
quiet in his head, with none of the disembodied voices that normally
Paranoia
plagued
and
his
stuff like
thoughts
that,
speaking
right?
to him. He still appeared content after 2 hours and was taken out of the suit, though after requesting to be placed back inside, he was allowed to return to wearing SCP-482. After an additional 1 hour and 30 minutes, though, the beta exposure began. Visible bulges appeared on his neck and shoulders, and after 4 minutes, he began screaming for someone to stop talking and get out of his head. More bulges appeared on his body, and
Very
audio recording
interesting.
equipment in the room picked up mysterious sounds that analysis has revealed to have been as many as 7 distinct voices speaking in an
This
unknown
is very
language.
interesting to me. Okay,
The
it's very
termination order
cool.
was issued 25 minutes
It's very
later.
cool how
and
the
later
straitjacket reflects their mental issues.
He revealed that each bulge actually contained a fully formed mouth and voice
Wow.
box.
Okay.
Observing researchers also reported that during the test, they had seen flashes of movement in their peripheral vision, and subsequent review of the taped footage revealed small shadows appearing and disappearing in the room throughout the test. Next up was a female D-Class who had been diagnosed with hyperphagia, which is a disorder that can cause an extreme increase in appetite and can remove the ability to satiate
So I have a
one's
feeling
hunger.
of how they might.
Upon being
I have
placed
a
in
feeling of how
SCP
they might represent this. They're basically gonna they're gonna make her.
She remarked
thick,
that, for the
so to
first time
say.
ever, I am
I'm
actually
calling it
full.
right now.
She felt this way for an hour and 58 minutes, after which she began to feel a pain in her abdomen. The D-Class fell into the fetal position as the pain increased, and her limbs were observed to begin retracting into her body, accompanied by loud snapping sounds as presumably the bones started to crack and break.
Ooh!
Oh God, it's eating me! Oh God, it hurts!
Ow!
She cried out, and a termination order was immediately issued. The autopsy
Oh,
that followed
damn.
revealed that the woman's body had somehow formed a second digestive system that had begun to consume her own body mass, and if left unchecked, would have eventually digested it in its entirety. Following this test, the observing researchers reported that they were unable to satisfy their own hunger cravings with normal amounts of food, and several of them
Okay,
actually
I
had to be
see.
restrained by security staff in the on-site cafeteria. Luckily, these urges appeared to fade after several days. In the
Lingering
final
effects
test,
of the
a D-Class
SC
personnel with pyromania was placed in SCP-482.
He's gonna be set on fire.
Despite the impulse control disorder normally causing them to start fires whenever given
He's gonna
a
be
chance,
set on fire.
they now ignored all of the flammable materials offered to them by researchers. After 1 hour and 33 minutes, though, thermometers
Something
in the
is gonna
testing
be
room
set on
noted a
fire.
sudden sharp rise in temperature. This was followed by a powerful explosion of heat and flames.
I called
when
it.
The D-Class spontaneously ignited. The testing room was completely destroyed, and nearby hallway A13 suffered catastrophic
look
damage.
at this mess, y'all.
All observing researchers were also lost in the conflagration. SCP-482, though,
Still
survived.
remained. Of course, it's an
Surprisingly,
SCP.
the body of the D-Class was also able to be recovered, and though the autopsy was made difficult due to the heat it still exuded, a discovery was made. Inside the body, a new organ was found, one that appeared to be sustaining
hell?
some type of constant reaction that produced heat, as well as strong magnetic waves.
Because he suffered from
This organ has been placed in
pyromania.
containment for future study. SCP-482 is currently being kept
It's a
in a
very
containment
interesting
locker at a
SCP.
secure site, with access restricted to Level 2 personnel and above. The maximum time allowed for testing is 1 hour after mutations manifest, and any test subjects who reach time point beta are to be terminated.
On the spot.
Following termination, SCP-482 is to be removed from their body prior to autopsy. The straitjacket is then to be thermally cleansed and all biological traces of the prior subject removed before it is used for testing again. Now I bet you are telling yourself, well, this sounds pretty easy to contain. I bet this is a safe class anomaly. And normally, I would agree with you. But perhaps you noticed something strange in the experiment log.
Strange like what?
Did you pay attention to the reports from observing
I
researchers
did pay attention.
that they too had begun to experience some rather unusual effects
Yes, lingering
simply
effects.
from watching SCP-482 affect a subject? Did it seem to you as though the mentally mutating straitjacket was somehow projecting the mental illnesses experienced by the subjects onto those observing it?
Yeah, I did catch on to that.
It appears that there may be more to SCP-482 than first meets the eye. And this mystery only deepens when one reads the containment procedures on this anomaly's file and realizes that the person overseeing SCP-482 research is none other than SCP Foundation legend, Dr. Bright.
Ooh.
Is the actual testing of SCP-482
I don't know who he
not
is.
actually taking place on the D-Class personnel, but on the SCP Foundation researchers? A convoluted experiment designed to discover the true extent of its anomalous effects. When it comes to this Euclid class anomaly, only Dr. Bright knows for sure. Now go and watch.
This is a very interesting SCP. You know what? I like this SCP. This SCP is really interesting. Would you look at that? Now, don't get me wrong. I still want to see this therapist, and I still want to try my hand at this straitjacket for myself. I will pay somebody an enormous amount of money to get my hands on this straitjacket. Trust me. So we're definitely going to be leaving the video off here. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, as that's going to help support my channel and make it possible for me to produce more and more videos and improve on my content at the same time. Yes? With all that being said, I will see you guys sometime soon or very shortly with a brand new video. I do have a lot of videos to record after this one with my throat being all busted up and stuff like that, but that doesn't matter. With all that being said, I will see you guys next time with a brand new video. Yes?